This car accident 11 years ago when his wife, who he says was driving, hit cyclist Ryan Mulemans, leaving him with serious injuries. Now, Andrews has always claimed the accident was the cyclist's fault. He was 15 years old, that boy, saying moments after we turned into a narrow beachside street, a cyclist collided heavily with the side of our vehicle. The cyclist was travelling at speed and hit our car at a perfect right angle, very heavily. I want to make it clear, the cyclist hit our vehicle. Now, police didn't charge either Andrews or his wife or breath test them, but as I've said before, Andrews' story seemed odd. The Herald Sun has since found pictures of the damage to their car. That smashed windscreen doesn't look like the cyclist hit it from the side. And paramedics who treated Muleman said in their patient care report, 15-year-old on a bike struck on the left-hand side by a car travelling 40 to 60 kilometres an hour. The car hit the cyclist from the side. It wasn't the other way round. But now comes this report, commissioned by the Muleman family, done by Ray Shuey. He was a former Assistant Police Commissioner for Traffic, now dead. The report was prepared for the purposes of the litigation that the Mulemans are planning against their former lawyers. I won't go into that in my column tomorrow. Shuey says other things don't add up here. He points out that Andrew's statement to police actually said, well, the first I saw of him, the cyclist, was when he smashed into the windscreen of the driver's car, which doesn't match his claim that the cyclist T-boned their car. In fact, Dr. Shuey suggests the accident was more likely caused by a fast car cutting the corner, smashing into Ryan Muleman on the wrong side of the street, just 27 metres up from the intersection. The car didn't stop for another 19 metres, suggesting it was going at speed. And there's other things. Why did Andrew's wife give a maiden name to police, meaning the Andrews name was kept out of it? Why was the police investigation so hasty, written off that night? No further action. Well, joining me is Kel Blair, former Chief Commissioner of Victoria Police. Kel Blair, great to catch up with you again. Ray Shuey's report, do you agree with it?
Every word, Andrew, every word.
Well, what do the facts of the case tell you?
That there was a concerted effort to ensure that there was no accountability for the collision. The fact of the matter is that the job was allocated to a unit. That unit was called off, another unit said they were closer. In fact, they were not. And they took 6.5 minutes to leave the Rye police station before they travelled to the scene. When they got there, every step that was required by the Victoria Police in their instructions was ignored, not followed. And the whole matter was written off without the proper interview of witnesses, without measurements, without adequate photographs, without any real investigation by just after 6 p.m. that night. Now, what that tells me is that somewhere along the line, the members that attended must have got some kind of instruction. I don't believe they would have taken it upon themselves to ignore all the procedures if they hadn't been given some kind of instruction from further up the chain of command. Now, there's been no adequate investigation. I understand that Victoria Police today said that the matter had been investigated. The investigation was overseen by the Anti-Corruption Commission, IBAC, and there was nothing to see. And there must be an independent investigation. That investigation has to be well and truly free of Victoria Police. I don't believe that IBAC has the capacity or the will to properly investigate. So I believe that we need an investigator appointed from outside Victoria to examine all of the facts.
And you can't write any of this off to simply, I don't know, laziness, incompetence.
No one can be that lazy or that incompetent who's had that level of experience of policing. No, it doesn't hold water to say that it was just poor police work. It was more than that. People of that rank, Senior Constable, Acting Sergeant, they've had enough experience to know what's required, and they surely had attended any number of serious collisions before, because you can't spend your time out on the road without attending, numerous collisions.
Kilgore, since Mick Miller's time, since your time, I have worried a lot about the increasing politicisation of the Victoria Police, how close it's got to government, particularly Labor governments. That you saw that, in my opinion, it is my opinion, in the joint persecution of Cardinal George Pell by the Premier Daniel Andrews and by police. You've seen it in a number of other cases, the brutal policing of the Andrews government's draconian pandemic lockdowns. Has any of this concerned you?
Absolutely, totally. I chair a group called the Community Advocacy Alliance, and for the last 9.5 years, we've published article after article on our website deploring the way in which Victoria Police has operated. Part of the rot set in, I believe, in 2013 with the Police Act, which was a product of the coalition, because one of the clauses in that says that the Victoria Police are bound to follow government policy. That's fine, but it is interpreted as giving the government the right to direct operational matters for Victoria Police, and that should always be the prerogative of the Chief Commissioner if there's a proper separation of powers. That hasn't been occurring, and I've never seen governments like the past and the present one that are so incompetent, so unaccountable and so unethical. And I'm not a bit political, even though that's a highly political statement.
Kilgore, I think something stinks in the state of Victoria. I've said it for a long time. And this report has been a real eye-opener, as have your comments been. Thank you so much indeed for your time.